Let's go ahead and get started. We are close enough to 12. Can't get much closer. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm sure we're gonna have people continue to sign on, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. Dave, if you could put up the flag for us, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ooh, good for you.
All right, and then let's see. Roland, would you do the invocation for us today?
Me?
Okay. Our Father, we thank you for a chance to gather again. A beautiful day, lovely Central Oregon. We appreciate the attendance of those that can make it today and our visitors. We look forward to this coming season and the opportunities we have as a club to help others and enjoy the good life we're afforded. This we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay, all right, so guests today, I see a couple. Cindy, thank you for joining us today. Sandy, it's so nice to have you as our speaker today.
Thank you.
All right, so for those of you that didn't see it, Sandy is Director of Capital Projects with Friends of the Children. She's going to be our speaker for today. So I will hand over the mic to you a little bit later. We've got a couple more things to do first. And then Nicole, thank you for joining us. Is it Nicole?
It is.
It is. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you for joining us today. And I think that's it for our guests. Announcements. Who wants to go first?
I will.
Earl.
The collection of the food bags is this weekend, and we'd like folks who have taken the bags to bring them to the Seas Candy Distribution Center at the old Silver Store and drop them off. That's only for this month. And then, if you would like, you can pick up a new Kiwanis bag that's there ready for you to fill up, and we will collect the next round of foods on the 30th of January. The 30th of January. There's a sheet that goes along with that. So if you have collected food, please bring it to the Seas Distribution Center on Friday or Saturday, and we'll take care of that for you. Thank you.
Okay, and that's before noon, correct?
Before noon, yes, between 10 and 11.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go next? Dan.
Okay, hi everybody. Two announcements. This Friday is our turn for December to serve at Jericho Table. I already have 2 volunteers. If anyone else is interested and really wants to do it, please let me know. Okay, second announcement. Been talking with Michelle Duff and looking at the lack of signups we have for bell ringing and a lot of concern and restrictions for COVID. I'm going to recommend to us that we step back from bell ringing for this year. So,
Yes.
Thoughts, anyone?
I agree.
You want to take that?
I definitely support that. I know Dan and I talked this morning about it a little bit, and I know there's concerns about COVID, but also beyond just the spreading of COVID, people I'm sure are also concerned about being out in the cold and compromising their immune system, which would also make them more vulnerable. So it's kind of a double whammy there. So I would say at this point, there's been plenty of time for signups for volunteers, and we're just not getting any. So I think this year we're going to have to step back unless we see a really, really strong effort from people to sign up and volunteer to do the bell ringing.
The radio.
No.
Okay, with that, I'll contact Salvation Army, and hopefully next year we'll be able to do really well. Two thoughts. First, if you want to support Salvation Army, I think it's a very good time of year for each one of us as individuals, if we can, make a contribution to the local Salvation Army. And the second thought, and maybe that's something the board might want to consider, is does our club as a group want to make a donation to Salvation Army this year? Just put that there for your thoughts. Thanks.
All right, who's next for announcements?
May I speak? Hannah Grandy?
Absolutely.
Oh, hi. I'm down here at the C store, and probably you got the email that we will be having this Saturday as our last day. And we're down here with a few small items, and some people are wanting just the chocolates, and some people will wait and I refer them to other places, and some people are just, you can encourage them to buy the small things that we have left. And John Duff gave me a report that the total credit card, including online sales, is $13,620, and that is not counting the bank deposits. But we will be paying our C's bill, and with no problem, we'll have to let you know afterward of any profits that we made. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Hannah.
I'd like to say something. I've been selling C's every year. I've been a member of the club, and this has been the best managed, fastest selling of candy I've ever seen. And I want to especially congratulate Hannah Grandy for her management of the whole operation.
Yes. Good job, Hannah.
Yes, good
Hannah,
job, Hannah.
I was at the store on Monday.
I have to respond to that. I have to say something. We have listed of the waivers that people signed, 19 volunteers from the club, and that's really good in a year like this. We couldn't have done it without the team. Go team.
Right. At Monday, I was selling candy in the afternoon. It was a very busy afternoon. A lot of people mentioned the news story that brought them to that site. So good job, Hannah, and your crew for making that happen. Thanks.
Right.
Okay, lots to celebrate. I love it. All right, does anybody else have an announcement that they want to go over today? John, you're on mute.
Hi, I'm Olivia Duff. I'm with the Redmond High School Key Club. I just wanted to give you guys an update and a thanks. Currently, Redmond High School Key Club is partnering with Every Child of Central Oregon. It's a program that helps provide supplies and materials for teens exiting the foster care system. Recently, we've started up our drive for getting materials, and we are very happy with how much we've had donated. I can't remember the name, but a dentist office here in the Central Oregon area gave us $500 to spend where we need it for the boxes. And that's just incredible. Our bins are filling up, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's helped make this a big reality.
Thank you, Olivia. John Bruce, did you have something you wanted to say? You're on mute. We can't hear you.
We'll try that. I was trying to block out the other information.
There you go.
I wanted to throw out a shout, thank you for Dan and Michelle for all the work they did to try to get this thing going with the Salvation Army. I had it for the last few years. I knew it was going to be tough. They gave it a great try. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, so just let's see, what do we have left? Just a quick reminder that if you have any volunteer hours, make sure you get those reported to Carl. Even if you're not sure if they count, he will vet those, but get your hours into Carl so he can report. And then also next week, Tuesday at noon, we've got our December board meeting. Everybody is welcome, whether you're a board member or not. So if you're not currently getting the invite and you want to attend, just make sure you let Dave know and he'll get that over to you. All right, so it's time for Happy Dollars. Who would like to go first? Josh, I saw your hand first.
Yeah, my wife had surgery on her leg a couple of weeks ago, and she's recovering very, very well. Yesterday was her first day off the crutches and off the scooter, and so she's kind of hobbling around a little bit, but in better spirits and on the mend. So I'll throw a happy dollar at it.
All right, Roland.
Yeah, Gail and I've been helping her son move into a new place, and part of the fixing up before he actually moves in furniture is repainting all the walls and replacing all the blinds. So I'm going to throw in a couple happy dollars because today I finished putting up 14 blinds.
You're happy about the finished part of that, right?
I'm the blind man. Yeah.
Earl, did I see your hand?
Yes, I got $2 to throw in. I'm happy that we finally have our bags for the food drives. Let's say Kiwanis on them. And secondly, I'm thankful for the support of Charles Schwab, who donated a whole office set of furniture for the Redmond Learning Center.
Great.
All right. Dick.
Dan?
Hey there. Oh, sorry, Annie.
Go ahead.
Give you a hug anyway.
Okay, appreciate it.
I give a couple of dollars to my very good friend Carl Bertries, who came and helped my wife decorate the outside of our house yesterday. And no greater sign of friendship than crawling down ladders and trying to decorate a house. So I thank you for that.
Very nice. All right, Ann, it's all yours.
Well, now I have to give an extra happy dollar for the hug from Dick, which I miss very much in our meetings. But I wanted to say we finally cut the cord. We not watch any TV, the little bit of TV we watch from the internet instead of a cable company.
Okay. All right. Any more happy dollars before we move on? Mike.
I've got a couple. We got
Okay.
I'm just out of sync with you. I got
we
it.
got to go do our annual Christmas tree hunt last weekend.
And you made it back.
And we made it back. The tree's
Right.
up and we survived. The kids didn't kill themselves sledding and all was good.
Truman, is that you with the mask on?
Well, yes, I'm working in the store with
All right.
my lovely assistant here who does all the financial work.
Thank you for stopping in.
Thank you. I finally figured out how to get it on my phone.
Okay. Are we ready to move on now?
I'm going to throw in 2 happy dollars.
Okay.
And just because we're getting closer and closer to the end of 2020, I can hardly wait.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, jumpers.
I was going to say I've got a couple happy dollars. One for Sandy joining us, and 2 for Friends of the Children getting their ranch and moving in there this week. So she's going to tell us more about that.
I'm trying to mute it.
Okay. All right, John, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. First of all, a happy dollar. I had a student that I had not talked to for 45 years give me a call the other day. That always brings a smile to my face. It's like emotional gold. And secondly, I throw in another couple of happy dollars. And the scene behind me, the red arrow points to where I lived in Haines, Alaska. Some of you may have heard about the flooding and the mudslides they had. 6 people are missing, 2 are still missing. And I'm happy that all of the friends that I have been able to communicate with are doing well. The arrow, by the way, points to where we used to live. The big mountain behind you see is about 6,000 feet, coming up from the ocean to 6,000 feet. I never climbed that. However, I did climb the backside of the mountain that had the mountain slide, or the mudslide.
Well, I'm glad to hear that all your contacts there are safe and doing well. That's good news.
1 minute.
And then I will put in $5 happy. I am happy to be back at work and not quarantined at home. My husband's doing well. He's been back to work actually longer than I have. So it was very minor blip on the radar for us, but it's good to be back and it's good to be feeling like I'm contributing again to my team. So I'm very happy for that. All right, let's go ahead and move on really quick. Our joke today, what is the difference between a piano and a fish?
The difference or the similarity?
The difference. What is the difference between a piano and a fish? No Googling it.
You tune a piano, but a fish is a tuna. I don't know, something like that.
Yes, you got it. You can't tune a fish.
There you go.
Oh.
Good job, Josh. All right, Sandy, thank you so much for being with us today. The floor is all yours.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me. I'm going to do a screen share and because I have a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation and there's a little video in there too. So I just want to make sure the settings are okay.
We're good to go.
Okay, when I do my screen share, I can't see anybody. So if anyone needs to say stop, please do so. Okay, let me do the screen share. Okay. I think this will work. Okay, so thank you for having me. My name is Sandy Visnack, and I've been on board with the organization since mid-September. You know, my main role is to help secure resources we need to pay for the new home of Friends of the Children. But before I launch into the new property, which we call the ranch, I just want to share a little bit more about Friends of the Children. Oh, hopefully this works. Okay, why isn't it working? There we go. So, you know, everyone really does have a story. You know, it doesn't matter where you are in your life right now. We all got here through a series of events and experiences. And those are the things that make up your story. You know, in almost every story, I guess, the main character, which in this case would be you or me, faces challenges and obstacles throughout their lives. Most main characters also have the assets and the strengths that help them overcome the obstacles in their paths. So think about some of the obstacles that you had growing up. Perhaps there was a divorce in your family or a loss of a loved one. You might have had a parent or another family member with an addiction issue, or perhaps, you know, you struggled in school or with some friends. We all have some of those things in our life. And now think about how you were able to overcome those obstacles. What strengths did you pull from? You know, what assets did you have that helped you along the way? How did you develop those assets? Were they opportunities that you had through trial and error, like many of us, and maybe through some guidance? And then also think about, you know, did you have certain people in your life that helped you along the way? I know I certainly did. You know, now think about the what ifs. You know, what if you didn't have that teacher or a grandparent or the other adult role model in your life? What if you never had the opportunity to develop the strengths that you have? I bet your life would have probably turned out differently. And, you know, the children served by Friends of the Children face more obstacles than most. And it's our job as an organization to help these children build upon their strengths and build assets to help them surmount the obstacles that they're going to face along the way. That's kind of the gist of what Friends of the Children does. However, I would like to play a video. Let me see if I can advance my screen. And this video does a great job of explaining, what Friends of the Children is in just about 3 minutes. So let's hope if I can click on this link, my video will pop up. On one second, where'd it go? Actually, I think I can play it right from here.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Oops, my Siri. Okay. Does everyone hear it?
No.
No, is your mute button unmuted on your screen? On your video?
On my video. Hold on one second. I think there's a setting in Zoom.
She looks good from here.
Can you hear the video when I play it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, let me go back. I had a feeling that might happen. Hold on one second. I know there's this opportunity, but it's so nice to hear the video itself. Let me see if I can just click on something. Well, I'm going to just do video settings real quick. I apologize. No, that did not do it. I do have the closed captioning on. Is that okay? Can you guys read along with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me do that. I apologize about that. I'm going to go.
Generational poverty, schools that are under-resourced, criminal justice, foster care, hunger, and even homelessness. Believe it or not, there's actually a number that can predict how many obstacles like these a child will face. This number is their zip code. Now, there isn't any one person to blame for this. It is a problem generated by 1,000 factors, and it continues one generation after another. This problem can seem overwhelming and too complicated to solve, but it isn't. Friends of the Children is a nonprofit organization that's been breaking the cycle of poverty one child at a time. We know that any child in any situation can succeed, even those facing the most obstacles. To that end, we provide a salaried professional mentor called a friend for each child who works with them from kindergarten to graduation, 12.5 years, no matter what. These mentors work with each child every week on 9 core assets of personal strength, like growth mindset, problem solving, and self-management, all of which they will need to overcome the many obstacles in their path. It is a big investment to commit to a child for their entire childhood, but it's a model that's been working for over 25 years. While 60% of our children's parents have been impacted by the criminal justice system, 93% of our children avoid the criminal justice system. 50% of our parents didn't have the support necessary to graduate high school. 83% of Friends Youth celebrate graduation. 85% of our parents started parenting during their teen years. 98% of Friends Youth wait until after their teen years to become parents. Each dollar invested in a child returns $7 to the community. The Harvard Business School Association of Oregon estimates that helping one child through this program can save the United States around $900,000. But what these numbers don't capture is the immeasurable value of changing one single life. Children in our program become leaders in their community and successful in their careers, which has ripple effects to their siblings, peers, and neighbors, but also to their children, breaking the cycle of generational poverty. Friends of the Children is growing rapidly as communities across the country are experiencing the power of how one changes a child's story. One friend, one child, 12 and a half years, no matter what. Become a part of this story today.
I'm gonna plug my headphones back in. Okay. So I just love that video. It really does provide a complete picture of what we do and why Friends of the Children exists. Now kind of for what we have in store. And that is that we are embarking on a capital campaign that I think Penny has mentioned to secure funding for our forever home. Since being founded in 2017, Friends of the Children has grown really quickly. We outgrew our old office and clubhouse, which was kind of one and the same. They were located in an office complex on Empire Avenue and in Bend. And we needed room for running programs and for our staff to do all the intentional work that, that we do. With rising real estate prices, we were soon priced out of the rental market. And the board and staff knew that a secure future would involve owning our own property. And let me see what's going on here. These are staff. And they got together, the board and the staff, and they established goals for the property. Being centrally located was really important. And therefore, being centrally located would help us be accessible for children from Redmond and Prineville and Sisters and outside the Bend city limits. We wanted an indoor space and an outdoor space, a safe place for the friends and the children we serve to explore. We really wanted it to be a welcoming environment and a friend, I mean a sanctuary for the friends and the kids that we serve. And over the summer, we found a perfect property that we are calling the Ranch. And the Ranch is a 19-acre property. It's on the old Bend Redmond Highway. I was lucky enough to be out there over the weekend and met one of the mentors, and they said it's actually 8 minutes from Sage Elementary School. So that was pretty exciting. The main house is about 2,900 square feet. It's a ranch style home. It's ADA accessible. There's a barn, there's a large kitchen, multi-purpose rooms. Outside there's wooded areas and grassy fields, a caretaker studio, and then lots of space for our staff, for office space. When I'm looking at the outdoor space, plans for the future include community gardens, caring for animals, having a lot of outdoor activity, a lot of active learning and physical education. Inside, there is a commercial kitchen, and we hope to have cooking classes and share meals, develop and cook healthy recipes, and even use that space for rental space for events. Inside, again, we have a STEM lab. We'll have computer stations and science materials for doing science experiments and tutoring. We plan to run our STEM camps there and even offer some STEM training and workshops for the community at large. When I'm looking at another space would be our homework lounge and library. The mentors that we have work really closely on homework and developing some of those educational skills for the children. So working on homework and projects, reading, playing games, yoga, meditation, and of course, community gatherings. We also, again, have the office space, and we have about 10 people on staff right now. And I'm sure you're curious about how we're going to be serving more of the kids from outlining areas outside of the Bend area. The central location will really help reduce commute time. Our mentors and kids spend a lot of time in the car, coming to and from activities, coming to our old clubhouse and back home. And we'll be able to replace that commute time in the car with some real quality mentoring time. Being outside the city of Bend is a real cost savings, and completing the capital campaign will help us eliminate the overhead. So we can take what we would spend on a mortgage or rent and invest in the program and develop growth plans. We'll be able to increase our ability to partner with Redmond nonprofits. I see that the different nonprofit groups could utilize our facility. We could collaborate on programming, and we'll have greater accessibility to the Redmond schools. I think also the ranch will be able to be a resource for the Redmond community for events. We would love to hold educational and training opportunities for teachers and people in the other social service areas, such as in our STEM lab. So the goals for the campaign, we are looking to raise about $800,000. From that, we're looking at grants of a total of about $500,000, corporate sponsorships another 100, individual donors about 190,000, and then special events another 10. And those are a little bit flexible. We might be more lucky with some of our special events and can adapt accordingly. So far, we have secured about $233,000. And I put this additional in here. We were told yesterday that we will be receiving our Facebook and Fortis construction grants. I just don't have the final number, but it could be up to about $70,000. You know, when we're looking at community support from organizations like Kiwanis, and it's really important for the future of our organization and for applying for those larger grants. A lot of the Murdochs and the Collins foundations, the Mabel Clark McDonald's foundations out there, they really like to see local support and about 50% of the money raised already in order to apply for their funding. So it really does help to have a variety of local sources helping out with that. So when we're looking at, you know, what this property really means to the organization, it's about future growth. It's also about reducing costs such as mortgage, rent. Again, I mentioned mileage. It's just a little more centrally located and easily accessible from the highway and from Sisters, from Bend, from Redmond. We will also be reducing costs because we could host our own events and we don't have to look for rental space. We'll also allow our organization to build equity. Owning a property is always a good investment around here. And we'll be able to diversify our income streams. Again, we'll have rental event space. We can partner with other nonprofits. And eventually, once we establish our gardens and our animals, we can have sales from flowers and veggies, eggs, and even maybe hay. But I think the most important part is really the enhanced quality of our programs. To have everything we need in one place will be really great. And so when I'm looking at organizations like Kiwanis Club of Redmond, I really want to highlight some opportunities. Of course, we're looking for funding for various aspects of the ranch. If your organization has a desire, a mission about outdoor space, we can work with you there. We, again, are looking for our funding so we can have local matching support. There's lots of naming opportunities. And, for now and in the future, we really want to see a more meaningful partnership with all of these different clubs and organizations for future volunteer projects. So really want to open up, the ideas and brainstorming on meaningful partnerships for the future. So that was probably a lot of information, But are there any questions I can try to answer?
I have one.
Maybe about the program or about the land? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, you showed in their last slide volunteer opportunities. Frequently, our club gets involved with organizations like yours in building things, ripping up carpet out of old buildings or putting in new electric light fixtures or just things to help people restore the space they use. Do you have opportunities like that for us where people would just come and work?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I don't have like a list of things in mind right now, but we are going to be putting in our STEM lab, and our STEM lab is going to be really important for all of those learning opportunities and for training purposes for teachers and other people in the who serve youth. So we're going to have to be, like you said, installing lights and computers and moving in furniture, that type of thing. Outside, there's opportunities for, building a playground. Right now, we don't have any playground structures there, but we certainly have things like that. I was there over the weekend, and out in the back fields, there's some cleanup that has to be done as far as some machinery or just things that were kind of left behind. So I'm sure we'll have some outdoor days where we'll be doing some cleanups and things like that.
Well, I encourage you to keep us and myself personally in mind, because we get engaged in things like that.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is the property set up for such a way that potentially there could be events there, whether inside or outside?
Yes, we are still going through all the permitting process right now. I don't have all the details on, when those types of things will be available, but we're certainly wanting to go through all the proper channels to make sure that if we did have an event, that we're not upsetting our neighbors and that we pull the proper permits. So yes, it will be set up in the future, and we're definitely working on that.
Thank you.
And please, Penny, if you have anything to add, you're more than welcome to. Anything that I didn't highlight?
Yeah, well, I appreciate all the work you guys are doing. It's so exciting to see to see the growth of Friends of the Children. And I just wanted to acknowledge Nicole Gee, who's our guest, or G, excuse me, that she took some of those photos in your presentation. I don't know if you're aware of that from eons ago, but so I just want to say thanks to Nicole for some of those photos. And then also Josh Warner, who's on the development committee as well, the development and marketing committee. I wanted to acknowledge his involvement in a lot of this brainstorming over the years and months of his service for Friends of the Children too as well. And lastly, I wanted to share just kind of a little memory that I had from Friends that I'm just like tearing up right now thinking about it, but something for me when we started this capital project, a story and a memory in particular comes to mind when I think of this property or this safe and comfortable place for children. I think of this little girl who at the time, this was a few years ago, was experiencing homelessness. Her mom was in treatment for substance use disorder, and her dad, who just had gotten out of treatment, was the sole provider of him and of her and her disabled child. And unfortunately, he was still struggling with addiction and having a hard time and working through DHS. And of course, everybody was kind of all hands on deck. But this, they were still experiencing homelessness, camping out south of Bend. And I just remember it was one of those days, a few summers ago, and it was over 100 degrees day, and there was lightning, and they're camping. And of course, she was 7 at the time, and she couldn't sleep all night, so she was exhausted. She came in wearing her pajamas still into her office. And she just passed out on the couch, and just this cool air-conditioned office, this safe place in our office, like in our clubhouse, on Empire. She just You could tell that she just was exhausted and just needed a place to come and rest. And she slept her entire outing, which is 3 hours, just slept on the couch with a blanket over her in just this cool environment. And, you know, I just think about the ranch and this really cool place that's not just any facility for kids, but it's such a place that where kids have such instability in their lives, and that this is really important to have a forever home, that they know of a place that they can go to and rely on that. And what's so cool about Friends is that it's 12 and a half years. So this place is going to be there. It's a familiar place, a stable place in their lives, where, you know, some other things in their lives won't be so stable. And so this is that consistent place. And so I just wanted to share that memory with you guys, and how I just think of that little girl and what a cool opportunity this is for not only her, but all the children and all the other nonprofit children, or children who will benefit from this property, I think is really important. And so, yeah, thanks for allowing me the time.
Thank you. That's really, really important. And I know that you have a history with, you know, working with those kids and knowing those kids. And that's something for me, I'm super excited about, just to get to know them. Just meeting a few of the mentors over the past few weeks and talking to them about how their kids are looking forward to this so much. It was, I think I met Corey, and he was saying, like, his kids are saying, like, all the forts they're going to build and what they're going to do with the property. So it's not just about, you know, the organization. It's really for the kids, and they have some big plans, evidently. So very excited.
I'll give a little background about the forts too, for some of you that don't know about our old property or our old clubhouse. We were in a small office space in Empire. It was 1,000 square feet. And the kids, you know, as boys are growing up, they were trying to find places to play or explore, you know, and so maybe there weren't some times that they weren't supposed to be on some property, but, you know, the mentors tried to reel them back, but, you know, they would get excited about like a little area in, you know, in this commercially zoned area. And then of course they would, you know, stash their, like, you know, sticks or whatever in these little like places in the, you know, in the commercially zoned area, and in the brush. And, you know, unfortunately then, you know, we would come up with like people experiencing homeless taking over their areas, or like taking their toys or their sticks. And so it just wasn't a safe place for kids, really, honestly, in that zone where we were at. And it was okay, like when the kids were really little and they didn't have weren't growing and exploring, we were still able to keep them contained in the office. But yeah, as they got older, they started exploring and wanting more land and things just to play with and play on. And so, yeah, I'm really excited for this wide open space that they'll be able to run around. And we have a therapist, I should say Friends of the Children has a therapist on their board that also really acknowledges the importance of safe space and wide open space for children to play and run, and how important that is for overcoming trauma. And that's really, really important for these kids to have that opportunity. And yeah.
Now, quick question. This is not the same plan that you guys had just a couple of years ago. Is that correct?
This is the same plan. Yes.
Okay.
Has it changed a little bit because of the actual property, Penny? I think we had kind of different phases, and now since we found that property, we really wanted to jump on it. And since we did have money for the down payment, we wanted to jump on it.
Right. Yeah. So it is different in that I should say the overall goal to acquire land and the ranch concept hasn't changed, but yes, the property itself has changed with the technical details. So the past property that we had in mind, unfortunately, we couldn't get, we needed a conditional use permit. And so we ran into a lot of barriers with EFU zoning and all of that, and what a hot topic that was. So we backed out of that opportunity back then. And since I left, Friends of the Children has found this new property, this 19-acre property that's totally different.
Sounds like this property is going to be a really good fit, though, to begin with, and the prospects for the future and growth as well, which is really exciting.
It is. It kind of checked all the boxes, as Kim Hatfield, our executive director, says. It really did check all the boxes.
That's exciting. Well, I'm also excited you know, with what we can do to help you guys out with that. I did pick Friends of the Children as my president's project. So I'm sure Penny's talked to you guys about that and what that means. But our annual fundraiser is going to be upcoming in May, and we still don't know what that looks like or if we're even going to be able to do it. But if we are, then some of those funds are definitely earmarked for Friends of the Children, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do to help there. So
great, thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah. All right. So any more questions before we wrap up today? Doesn't look like it. Okay. All right. So your thought for the day before I say goodbye. Today is from Lucy Larkham, and it's, if the world seems cold to you, kindle fires to warm it. So that's it. Thank you guys.
As a reminder, this video will be available on our website, redmondkiwanis.org tonight.
Thank you, Dave. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Bring your food in.
Thank you so much.